Alright, we have returned, this time with the second campaign in Guild Wars 1, the Factions campaign. We're going to be starting here with Minister Cho's estate. For those of you who have just started because you skipped out on prophecies, I am Hawk. In terms of my experience in this game, I have obtained 27 out of 30 titles my main character. Not this one's only got 2. If you want to see what that warrior is, watch the prophecies one. In terms of content in this game, I have done everything except for fighting Doom himself. I have done all of the quests in the underworld. I just have not had one where I've strung them all together so I can fight Doom. And then Urgaz's Warren, which I have zero interest in doing. So that's in terms of what I know about this game. And this time I'm going to be running on my Ritualist, because I talked a lot about caster playstyle versus melee, so I'm going to demonstrate that now as we go through factions. As for those of you who are returning from Prophecies, one key difference that's going to be happening here compared to my Prophecies runs is I'm not going to run to the next outpost after I finish a mission if it doesn't send me directly there. That's because Factions, Nightfall, and Eye of the North, if you try to go to a mission place early, you can't actually do the mission. There's no skips. You have to actually follow the quest lines, which take you to each of those locations anyways. So I'm not going to bother because these characters have completed these campaigns. I can't show you it anyways. But anyways, what's going to happen here is I'm running all these missions through in hard mode, explaining my tactics and how we're going to go about it. So in terms of my build here, as my Ritualist, I'm running a standard Signet of Spirits set here, specifically a channeling version, Signet of Spirits itself, Bloodsong and Vampirism, they'll serve as my main spirit wall here, Painful Bond to increase the damage they do, Spirit Boon Strike, summon spirits to heal them, and summon spirits in particular keeps them with me, and then Boon of Creation to help heal myself, and a hard res. Some things you can do is you can drop some of your spawning power. Good skill you can take is Armor of Unfeeling. Makes your spirits a lot stronger, but I'm not too concerned about that. In terms of heroes, Xandra runs a Soul Twist set. Not really much to add onto that. Soul Twist, or pretty much PVX Wiki, it's going to be your standard deal. Since I'm no longer running a melee character, though, I did swap out my Strength of Honor for a hard res there. Livia runs a standard BIP Resto, Blood is Power. She'll be the battery that keeps all of our energy up. And then Master of Whispers, he runs a basic Minion build. And in terms of my optimization here, my heroes aren't very optimized compared to my main, but they should still be able to do the job. So anyways, without any further ado, let's get running. So, Factions and Nightfall missions, instead of having the main mission and a bonus, they have a normal, I forget what it's an Experts, that's right, Experts, and then Master's Reward, based off of how much based off of completing additional objectives. A lot of the Factions ones are time-based. So to get the Master's Reward, which is the max in this mission, you have to complete the entire thing within 20 minutes. Which we should be able to do. So first thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do something a little bit cheeky. And I am going to attack the Sickened Guard through the wall to try to get him to come over here. And I'm going to see if I can get my spirits to hit him, but with my melee character, when I'm playing on my warrior, I can just hit him through the wall, kind of like how they're hitting my spirits through the wall right now. And it gives you a little bit of a head start, but as soon as that's open, they're just going to be annihilated. Oh, I have Master of Whispers ignoring combat. I don't know when I did that. That would have been bad. But yeah, with heroes, I'm going to be repeating a lot of stuff I probably said over the Prophecies missions, just because, like I said, in case people came straight to Factions. Because this is a lot harder than Prophecies. So, when it comes to my heroes, the generic thing I do is if they are backline, I'm going to give them a guard stance. And then if they are a melee character, I'm giving them a fight stance. Other things to point out that can be helpful is make sure you have a hotkey for flagging all of your heroes, so you can send them wherever you need to at a glance if you need to set up traps, which is something I'm going to be doing a lot. So for example, if there was a mob down that hall, that stairway there, I would flag all of my spirits here, put my heroes here, and then I would use my longbow, which is on my weapon set here. Technically it's a flat bow, but it's the same range as a longbow, to then pull enemies in. And if you ever need to, you can just double tap that key and it'll instant cancel the flag. And that works if you flag individual heroes as well. Something very nice if you need them to move places. But anyways, now Togo and Yeho here have finished their chatting, so we can continue on. For the most part, this mission is just teaching you a lot of tricks, like how you can mark the map, so various lines, ping spots, all that fancy thing. Teach you about separate patrols. It's just a lot of tiny notes that can be helpful. So definitely, when you're going through the first time, at least take note of what they're saying. I'll do an example here of how you can set up a trap. So, flag the heroes, pull the guard, and then you pull them directly to your spirits. The minions help cover. And the more you can corner trap, the better. And you'll see me do that a lot, where I will be trying to corner trap a lot of things on my spirits so that they don't get out to my heroes. And you can do a similar deal here with, if you are a caster that doesn't have spirits like my Rit here, you can have a hero that has access to spirits do the same type of stuff. And you can use that to set up walls, and then you can use flagging to get them all to retreat behind minions and spirits. Because the thing about enemies is they can't walk through your spirits or your minions. So you can take advantage of that to set them up as basically meat shields for you. Alright, now we'll flag here. Master Togo here is about to suggest we don't take this fight, but I am going to take this fight. Or at least try to. So I'm going to be trying to summon my spirits here so they block this wall here, and then I flag my heroes around the corner. So now when I attack them, is this really not going to pull them? Alright, fine. They ran away before I even had the chance to really do it. But the plan, I normally just run in there guns blazing with my warriors, so didn't know the corner trap wouldn't work. Ooh, an FDS. Cool. In terms of my inventory, I like to keep around a lot of lockpicks so I can use them to progress my treasure hunter. There you go, that's a good example of the minions doing their job here as the meat shields for the group. And then I can put my spirits behind them just in case it gets through. And just like that, we have a wall and no one in the back here takes damage. The only reason you see damage come here is because this is a sacrifice health skill. That's what that red circle means, is denoting to. And then Master of Whispers has one too in Masochism, where the faded text there at the bottom, you sacrifice 4% whenever you cast a spell. So this mission, we're just going to keep following Master Togo and Yeho here. Or is it Yejo? I've never been sure. Either way, we've got some spirits to deal with. Or some guards to deal with. Also, as another note, I will be skipping all cutscenes. If you want to experience the story, run it yourself. That's not what this video is for. I'm here to teach you how to get to those cutscenes, not to show you the cutscenes. In terms of hard mode versus normal mode, all these tactics I'm doing in hard mode, you can use them for normal mode. It'll just be easier to pull them off. There'll be less damage pressure, things will go down quicker. So you don't necessarily have to be optimized. I'm pretty sure they've got some greens, but like Livia here has literally her base stuff. Yeah, same with Master of Whispers. They are not optimized whatsoever. You don't need to be necessarily for a lot of stuff. The important thing is you're putting the skills together into solid builds. PVX Wiki's useful for that. Helps guide you for what skills to buy. And in these early missions, the enemies are so easy that you'll be fine, even with less than optimal sets. If you're running this stuff in hard mode the first time through there with suboptimal builds, that's not my fault. Make sure you get your builds together before you go into hard mode. Alright, let's go ahead and get the extremely dangerous and frightening Moa bird over here. So yeah, with my weapon sets, I have a bunch of just random staves that do different things, that serve different purposes, so I can use them for different builds. Like my Plague Soaked stave here. I have another set of armor here that I could use if I want to go for a Soul Twist set, so a more supportive one. If I'm with a group and they don't need me to do damage, I can run a prot or a heal set through that. Highly recommend having multiple armor sets if you can afford it. My warrior actually has 3 different armor sets for each of their main weapons. But the important thing with any weapon set, I do not care what this character is, always have a flat bow or a longbow on one of these weapon sets for pulling. Flat bows and longbows are able to pull from outside of the aggro range, which makes them incredibly useful. Let's go ahead and wall trap there. I can flag all my heroes there. And we can just attack right on through. And just like that, they are completely locked out. And you can also do corner traps like this with a melee hero. You can slot out like Master of Whispers or somebody else if you need to in order to free up a melee slot. Master of Whispers would probably be the first one I'd kick out of the group. Just because the prod is extremely useful for preventing spikes, and then Livia is our energy management, or a good portion of it at least. But yeah, when we're going through the menagerie here, going to actual mission-specific stuff, just make sure you keep an eye on these two. They do not run the optimal route to get through here without aggroing stuff, so don't trust them. So again, trapping them with the spirits, and then get behind. Just if you are a melee character in general, if you're being attacked by melee, easy way to get rid of them is what I just did here. Run through minions, run through spirits, body block them using those. And it'll be an easy way for you to get out of trouble. I really wish my heroes did that more often. Sometimes I had to flag them to get them to do it. You won't see a lot of micro from me in terms of my heroes. There's one hero specifically later on where I will occasionally micro their elite. But that's few and far between. Anyways, we just continue up the estate here. Kick the stairs, trap on the stairs. And they'll run right into it. Let's get ready to refresh my spirits. Alright, we're almost at the end here. And for context, we had 20 minutes to do this mission. So far, I've been in the map for 11 minutes. So, I have only spent half the time in here that I've needed to in order to get Masters. So, this mission should be pretty easy to get Masters for. That's why I'm explaining a lot of different stuff outside of missions, more generic tactics. Because this is when I'm really going to have the time to do it. So when we get to Tanakai Temple or other things, we will not have that privilege. So, I'm going to go ahead and prepare some spirits here, get Xandra to summon her shelter for us. Get some spirits going before we actually talk to Minister Cho. The boss isn't actually a threat, but it's a good thing to get used to doing. And there we go. Boss is done, and mission is done. So yeah, just follow Master Togo. If you're doing this in normal mode, he's level 20. He'll just crush everything for you. And just like that, we are done with our first mission here. So, hope this guide has been useful. Next up will be Zendaishun. Actually, before we do that, I'm just going to actually map over there, because this is a party member increase. So I'm going to be popping up to 6 here. So what I'm going to be doing here now is I typically add Elias and Gwen here to my group. Elias runs Shinrai's weapon. He's just another extra healer, and then a little bit of extra protection from melee and a little bit of extra protection from spike damage as well. Gwen, your generic E-Surge Mesmer. So a lot of damage, a lot of disruption, so will help us a bit as we deal with more large caster groups. So with that, hope this video has been useful, and we'll see you for the next one.